Hello and welcome to this Capricorn inspired reading for August 2025. I am working with the symbolism of the tarot cards and with the symbolism of Western astrology to uncover layers of consciousness, to find new perspectives, to maybe find some inspiration for your situation. I am not a fortune teller. I am merely working with the cards as a tool for self-reflection. So let's see what wants to come out. A lot of cards flipped over. So might be a lot of stuff going on. Who knows? All right, that's the one. Ooh, the Sun in the reverse. The Sun in the reverse as the first card in the center of the reading coming out is interesting because we might think a lot about the self and what that means and what it means to really show ourselves, be playful, be open, be a little shameless, and what holds us back. Because we know, I think this is a card when it's in the reverse for me often it's like we know ourselves, we know who we are, we know our playful, childish, in a good way, open and fun self, but we might have just a little bit of a hard time shining our light right now. And for me, it seems like it's really this idea of, or this doubt of something that is holding us back, and we're not quite sure what it is. And this is what we might want to figure out. What is holding us back from truly showing ourselves? Because we know, as I said, I think we know who we are, we know what it is that we want to bring out, but there is something that's just keeping us from being as light as we want to be. We're dimming our light, or something is dimming our light. But I feel like it's not so much a thing where another person is doing that. It's something within us that is holding us back to bring out our best selves, our freest selves. So let's see. That's like an investigative reading, I feel like. Yeah, and that is the investigator already, the Page of Swords. There's a lot of really cards coming out in different readings, same cards. So I just did the Sagittarius reading and the Page of Swords was also there. So we might want to investigate a little more and learn a little more about what subconsciously is maybe hidden underneath the surface that we cannot really access right now and that holds us back. And that is keeping us from really shining and being our freest selves that we could be. And the Page of Swords, as you can see, he is having his sword in his hand. He is the investigator. He is the smart, open, curious page who wants to learn, who wants to work with higher knowledge, who wants to work with his intellect as well, who wants to communicate, who wants to speak, who wants to write, who wants to read. That's all the Page of Swords. And he's trying to learn and gain new information and gather information. So I think this is an investigative journey into the past and also our subconscious a little bit. So we are opening up more to these patterns that are hidden or that are hard to understand, that are holding us back from really being our true self, whatever that is. You know, I think that is something that we change and that develops over time, but living our most free and open-hearted life. This would also be the Sun. So what is there to investigate? Ooh, I like it though. The Ten of Swords in the reverse in the subconscious is really suggesting that something is really definitely and absolutely over within ourselves that is a programming. And I think we're really releasing that by ourselves. We're really cutting something off by ourselves. And that is maybe even happening on a deeper level subconsciously, where we don't even have to rationalize it or don't even have to understand it, but we can feel and we can tell that something that we were stuck in, maybe like a mental pattern or a program is just no longer. It's just gone. And it's a part of ourselves that is just like killed off, quite literally, and which is probably maybe that part that is holding us back from stepping into our true light. And the Page of Swords, I think, understands that more through looking at the past than through really feeling into the subconscious, because we don't have any water cards here or cups. So it's more like something just operates different within us. And I think the Page of Swords is trying to understand what happened, you know. Something just, it's like a switch. The Ten of Swords, it really feels like a switch. It's not a slow transformation. It's like now it's here, it's the end, it's over. And this could mean that we are finally ready to step into a more light version or a lighter version of ourselves. But let's see what's coming up. Oh, it seems like the timelines are completely switched up here. It's not a future or past type of reading. There is much more of a dynamic going on that is more complex, because we do have the Fool here in the past position, which is already that realization to step into a more light, open-hearted and free energy, to really free yourself from old patterns, from old programming, from old thinking and belief systems, and really step into all the possibilities, the endless possibilities of life. Step into an adventurous, curious, open-hearted energy that is really ready to see the new, that is really ready for all the possibilities that the universe and life has to offer. For some reason, I get a lot of nostalgic type of energy that brings some sort of mourning the freedom of the past or something, or looking for this type of freedom in the past. But this doesn't need to be a bad thing, because with the Sun in the reverse, we also often talk about working on the inner child and our free expression and healing the inner child. And maybe the Fool has realized in the recent past that he needs to really dig a little deeper and go a little further back to get to this light and happy and open moments. And that might be early childhood, you know, or it might be adolescence or teenage years. But it seems like there is a lot of trying to analyze and understand about the past. But it seems like this lightness has been found, and the inner attitude, which is the Fool, the inner attitude of opening up to life, opening up to something new, opening up to all possibilities. So what's the higher consciousness saying? I'm very curious about that. Ooh, yeah, the Ace of Wands in the reverse. Well, we might still, with the Ace of Wands in the reverse, have a little bit of a hard time to step into action and to really get that ignition and to really get that spark going within us and that inspiration. Maybe we want to push something, maybe we know that we want to step into something new, but we don't quite yet feel this spark that is really driving us towards this new thing or towards this new way of living, of experiencing. The Wands often for me, or talk for me about experiencing things, living life, having life force, going into action, going into movement, doing things, making things happen. So when the Ace of Wands is in the reverse, we either have a problem that our ego is really going overboard and we kind of get stuck out of maybe too many possibilities that show themselves, or we just don't find the right way to go. We don't find that spark within ourselves to really take that first step. And that's very... makes a lot of sense to me. With the Sun card in the reverse and the Ace of Wands in the reverse, I have to say there might be an ego thing going on, an ego problem where we're like wanting to make something happen so bad that it takes the lightness out of it and the inspiration, and we're just like dulled down. Oh wow, but you know, don't even worry about it, because we have the Eight of Swords. It might come faster than we think. I feel like this is really, right now is the time for us to understand on an intellectual level and on a rational level where we find that lightness within ourselves, where we find the openness, where we find the also curiosity for life, the trust in life, the faith, and trying to take that knowledge and really putting it into action, or letting it itself put into action. I feel like this is not even so much something where we have to really work hard to put something into action. It's like, okay, it's just a process of learning, and by gathering more and more information, things will start moving by themselves. Even though you might feel like, I don't know how to make things move right now, because I just cannot really find that spark within me. I don't think that's what you need to do right now. I think what we need to do right now here is really just trying to think, and that's the Page of Swords as well, trying to think about all these moments where you saw the world opening up to you, where you saw people opening up to you, where you stepped into new life experiences with an open heart, with a full heart, and with no expectations as well, because that's also the Fool here. He doesn't have any expectations, you know, he just has a trust in the universe and in the heavens and in the above to guide him, and that's basically it. So with the Eight of Wands, things can go very fast, things can get into motion very, very fast, and a lot of things can happen at the same time. Wow, there is a thunderstorm going on outside right now. I hope you don't hear it too much, which is also interesting. We might have you know, a moment of thunderstorm where things happen very, very fast and intensely. So how we see ourselves right now? Yeah, I mean, Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. For me, I don't even want to go too deep into this card, but for me, the main vibe here from this card is too self-critical. We might be too self-critical right now. We might pick... That's the problem with the Page of Swords as well. He is tempted to go too much into detail and find all the little mistakes, you know, we made along the way that kept us from accomplishing what we want to accomplish. When the Seven of Pentacles is in the reverse, for me, it's often just like a card where we are just maybe a little too self-critical, or we get hung up on the details. It could also be a card where we're finally ready to move out of a stagnant position, which seems to be the case here with the Eight of Wands for sure, which is probably only possible by not being too self-critical. So let's see what the outside influences are right now. The Moon card. Oh, very mysterious. People might not be showing you a lot right now, and it might not even be such a priority right now to know where you're going with your surroundings, to know where you're going with the outside world. And I think this is the interesting thing also about this reading, because with the Eight of Wands here, we're really stepping into the unknown. We're moving very fast into an unknown type of energy, and it could be people surrounding us that help us also understand our subconscious a little better, all these layers that we haven't uncovered yet. And we might want to have help from other people that are also in that process, or we might attract other people that are also in that process and on the same frequency than us, who have to learn lessons together with us. And I feel like there's a lot of attraction to this unknown, to these hidden layers right now, and we really want to move into it, which is good job, Capricorn, because I know for Capricorn it's difficult sometimes to really go into these layers of consciousness that you cannot touch and understand and feel and see, that you have to more experience, you know, because Capricorn likes results and likes to see things building, and with the Moon card we really don't see how things build up. We can just sense something that we want to know more about, and we might not be able to rationalize it. All right, the fears. And it also seems like you're really moving and confronting fears, especially when it comes to other people. Maybe confronting dynamics with other people or with the outside world that you've been afraid of, and that would make a lot of sense with the Sun card here. So Sun and the Moon, you know, we need both to be able to create light, the light and the dark. The dark representing our fears, which is the position I'm drawing a card for right now. Ooh, 9 of Cups. That's hilarious. It's not even funny actually, but for me, for some reason, that's hilarious. Yes, being in control of your feelings might be a little scary, you know, being really condemned at the end of the day with all the emotional diversity we have going on within ourselves, and being able to handle all of that, which is represented by this guy who is sitting in front of the shelf with these 9 cups. And it doesn't mean that all the cups are just happiness, you know, but it's like, oh, I mastered this position here with myself, that I'm very emotionally independent, mature, and content. And at the end of the day, I can just lean back and be quite comfortable here on my little bench, because I mastered this range of emotions. And that's why it's also a wish fulfillment card often that brings in a lot of happiness, because we are very emotionally regulated. That is a good way to put it in more, you know, pop psychology terms. Maybe we are afraid of that. Maybe we are afraid of really taking responsibility also for our own emotions, because it's easy, of course, to push away responsibility or make somebody else responsible for how we feel. The 9 of Cups, we don't do that anymore. We're like, well, I'm a grown-up now, and this is being a human, and that means I might wanna be able to handle that. And it's a process, and it's okay if we're not there, and it's not something that we're constantly living or able to live. Of course, things are gonna throw us off, but having a little more control over your emotions and not being afraid of them also is, of course, a very, very good idea and stable place to be in. So the key card, 8 of Pentacles in the reverse. Well, I need to pull another card, but it seems like it is not just yet the time to do this Capricorn thing, even though this is a Virgo card, to try to master something right away and put all the work in. I will draw another card, because we have 7 of Pentacles in the reverse, 8 of Pentacles in the reverse, and we might still be, you know, we might still be in a position with the 7 of Pentacles in the reverse where we really have to figure out some details of what we can do better or optimize, I want to say, to have better results in our situation. And this is what the Page of Swords is doing here by looking at where is this feeling of lightness, of freedom, of openness, and where can I find it? I feel like also on a day-to-day basis, and it's more like detecting it rather than already putting it into action, because the 8 of Pentacles upright would be like, okay, we have all the little details that we have missed in the past, and now we can finally master the last step. And I feel like this is not just yet the moment, it's now more about understanding, where can I find this foolish energy in the best possible way, you know, not in a risky, stupid way, where I feel playful and open, and how can I incorporate that and find inspiration in that. 2 more cards. All right. Nice. I love it. We have a Page of Cups on the bottom of the deck, which is for me always a card of emotional growth and openness to emotional learning and experiencing, and also mastering your own emotional, or a step into getting better at mastering your emotional world, being open-hearted, understanding your inner world a little more, and also very gentle energy. Very gentle. We are very gentle towards ourselves. We might also have a strong realization, maybe suddenly, that we've been taking on things that we actually don't need. Tower and the Four of Cups on an emotional level, I have to say. And I think it will feel like something is finally just breaking open from within into movement. There's a very courageous energy at the same time here with the Eight of Wands. Just full on moving into this Moon card in the environment. Maybe even moving into environments you haven't been either. It could also be, you know, stepping into social environments maybe where you have never been, that are completely blind, where you're completely blind to areas of civilization, you know, where there's a lot to learn, and opening yourself up for that experience, finding maybe more inspiration, more answers. With this Tower and the Four of Cups in the reverse, I really think there is a realization of, oh, I have been maybe accepting things that really don't do it for me on an emotional level, you know, and that's okay. It's very comfortable there. But for me, that card often indicates that we accept things that we actually don't need. Yeah, that's the reading, Capricorn. That's it feels like the end of it for me. I hope you have a great August. Please check out my description box for the card decks I'm using, all the things I'm offering, and how you can support this channel. And please like, subscribe, comment, and come back next time. And I'll see you soon. And I hope you have a great summer. All right, goodbye.